This is End of the Reel.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I turned into a vampire. It's a long story.
G'day everyone and welcome to a brand new episode. We are up to episode 60. Yeah.
How are we?
No significance to the number really. Yeah, we've been doing this for like
6-0. That's
6
pretty
oh,
important. Yeah.
2 years. Pretty impressive. They say your first 100 episodes are crap, so
We're almost there.
we're almost out of the shit.
40 more and, it might be all right.
We got a new camera lens. It looks sick. So I hope this comes out and looks awesome. Let's get to the movie, Ethan. So, of course, I'm here, your host, Jared. My co-host, Ethan.
Hi.
Cool. Ethan, last night we watched the movie.
Do you remember the name of the movie, Jared?
Virtual Runners.
No, it's called Virtual Combat, also known as Grid Runners.
Right.
I don't know why it has multiple names. Apparently, it had to change it in Britain or something. Apparently,
the
you
books-
said it was based off a book.
It says that at the very start. The book is also not called Grid Runners, by the way.
Okay.
It's called something else. That's what got me. I remember watching this at the very start. I was like, so it's got like, the book's named something, the movie's got two names at least.
Was
it's
it just flat out trying to copy Blade Runners because they're chasing sort of androids?
I didn't even think about that.
I know. This movie feels like it's like so many different ideas thrown together, but with no real structure. It's just, it wants to be a kickboxing movie, but for some reason it's in a sci-fi world and it has to try and marry the two and it just doesn't.
No, it wants to be Mortal Kombat. Actually,
Yeah.
really should have looked this up. When did this movie come out compared to Mortal Kombat?
I have
the
no
movie?
idea. But it is.
Okay,
it
you
feels
talk.
like a
I'm
Mortal
gonna
Kombat game.
do my special research. In other words, Google.
So it's set in future America. They're in Las Vegas, and they've got the technology where they can sort of do the lawnmower machine where they get put into virtual reality by putting on the full bodysuit, and then they get put into the weird spinny thing, and that puts them into virtual reality. There are only two games. One is incredibly popular. It is called Sex.
I think it's just sex. Yeah.
It's the sex game where you just have sex. And the other one, apparently only our main character plays, which is called Fight World or something.
Yeah, they're not very creative.
And it seemed like a really boring game
shit.
where it's just 10 levels and you just beat the next guy one after the other. And the main boss is called, in the virtual game, is called Dante. He is the villain of the game.
Wow.
He basically cannot be beaten because he cheats. He has magic powers, so he just can't lose.
Hey, I got an interesting thing.
He is also telepathic, so he has magic and telepathy. That's important for later
I thought
in the
that
game.
is still just
because
magic. That's kind of magic.
It's a kind of more sci-fi kind of magic, though.
He can also make stuff with his hands.
Yeah, it gets really stupid.
So I just looked this up. Virtual Combat actually came out the same year as Mortal Kombat, but
The video game or the movie?
the movie.
Oh, okay.
But the movie came out like a few months before the Mortal Kombat movie. Like Mortal Kombat was December 5th, right? 1995. This movie was like July 11th,
Mortal Kombat was better than
1995.
this.
Oh, Mortal Kombat is leagues, but because you know what? It's more fun.
Because it makes sense.
They
Their
sort of
things are
set stuff up.
explained.
We did Mortal Kombat. We watched Mortal Kombat. They set stuff up. I can't remember if we did an episode of Mortal Kombat, but no, we did. I enjoyed Mortal Kombat.
I can't remember. We watched one of them.
It was really entertaining. It's more fun. You set up the world. This one took the concept of the Mortal Kombat game and then didn't do anything with
Yeah,
it. I don't know.
so-
Sorry about that weird pause there. I'm
So
just like,
people travel to Las Vegas to use these virtual reality suites.
we think.
We think very little is actually explained about how it works, even though everything depends on you knowing crucial rules and laws that are not explained in the movie.
What this movie needed, okay, it's quite obvious. It needed a title, a scroll thing at the start where it just says the year is 2025.
Yeah, just some exposition. Instead,
You
we're
know?
like, we know there are virtual reality suites in in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I think they're only in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I think there's only one possible copy at a time. Like, there's only one possible AI creation of, like, each of the characters.
How much did they pay to play the game again?
It was like $5,000 for a single turn.
Right. So
Or they use credits because Future World.
Future World, which
There's
also
a lot of that.
Future World seems to be inhabited by the teller and the two patrons.
Yeah.
There's no one else. This movie's very low on people.
I will say the worst thing about this movie is the lighting. And it's got to be bad if I'm going to bring that up. It is
Oh my goodness.
very hard to tell what is going on for multiple times.
We get the start scenes.
I know day for night is bad, but they just shoot at night and
Yeah.
there is no lighting.
Do day
Or
for
they'll
night.
put the light before the camera so you can't see what's going on behind it.
They were trying to be cool.
Yeah.
So like
They
we
were
start
trying
off.
really hard to be cool.
We start off and he's in the game, and we go through literally four fights.
Yeah.
I think we go through him just fighting 4 people,
Before he gets beaten by Dante at the end.
and it's too much. Like the movie starts, and you are literally watching fight scenes for like 5 minutes straight.
And it won't be like a nice fight scene. It'll be like strobing lights at your face.
so this is the thing.
The fights are good.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, right? The fights are good. The people doing them are competent. The way they're filmed is decent. But like, we do this every time when we talk about action films. You can't just throw the same level of action constantly at us without anything else
It got
happening.
very boring towards the end because people were just walking around hitting each other. I didn't know why.
And that's you watch John Wick, you move situations, stuff changes. There's things that's a risk.
I care about the characters.
Exactly. Well, you watch this film and it's just him going from one fight scene to another. Don the Dragon.
Yeah, Don the Dragon Wilson. That is the name
Wilson.
of the actor.
Okay.
I woke up this morning. I was like, who were any of the... I don't remember any of the names except Dante because he kept saying his name and he was kind of interesting.
And he's voiced by Worf.
He's voiced by Worf from TNG.
Yeah, totally just forgot his name.
Yeah, because Dante doesn't speak. He just looks cool. And because he's got the telepathy, I think he projects his voice.
He
into people's
projects his
heads.
voice.
So people will be... He'll be like standing there, stock still, and all of a sudden you'll just hear Worf going, "No one defeats Dante." That was kind of interesting.
I kind of like that as a character too.
Yeah, I have no idea what the main character's name was. He is called Don the Dragon Wilson in real life.
Yeah, legitimate fighter.
He is
really
an actually
legit.
good kickboxer, and you can tell from the movie that is like he knows what he's doing.
So this, and then I looked at his credits, and I was shocked that I don't know about this guy.
He is
61
credited
movies.
as Don the Dragon Wilson.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And in the credits, it also has another line under it: world champion kickboxer.
Yeah,
Just in case you didn't know.
he's good.
He's not a bad actor. The fight scenes are good.
He's got 61 movie credits.
It's just the story is just so hard to understand.
He did a
about
whole heap
why
of
they're
movie.
doing
Yeah,
things.
it's just not a. Well, that's the thing. They don't try and explain the story at all. At all. Like
Things
we
just
don't.
happen.
They are just going from fight scene to fight scene, pretty much. Like they also just cut scenes to things, and they're just there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he does the fight where he loses, and everyone goes, "You can't beat Dante."
So, Don the Dragon Wilson and his partner are grid runners. It's never explained what a grid runner is.
But we're in casino. So we're in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
This is. You want to do your thing, and I'll do
So
mine.
grid runners, they get unlimited access to the virtual machines.
Yes.
Which just means that the guy's having sex all the time. They go into detail about how his wife also uses the sex machines because they've got an arrangement that she only fucks a version of him with a bigger dick.
Or was it with a smaller dick?
No, he said some things were larger.
Ah,
So,
bit weird.
yeah.
That was funny though, wasn't it? I can't
It
remember.
becomes awkward later because, of course, the partner dies very early in the film.
Oh my god, I
So
forgot.
this movie raises a lot of questions. Like, we spent most of our time asking, like, does she keep fucking the husband after he's dead?
Well, this movie should have tried to explain the world, right? But instead, the only scenes we have where they try and explain or bring stuff in is with the wife of the partner,
Yeah.
right? So they bring her in, and it's really dumb. Like he turns up and she's like, "No, don't." Also, horrible acting.
Oh, yeah.
She was the worst, but
Some of the extras are pretty bad.
she was not good. I just, for some reason, like that her scene stuck out. I think it was because it was really bad acting and just a really dumb scene. Remember, it was like, you don't tell me that he's not coming home, because if you tell me that, he won't come home. And I'm just like, what is this? And he was like, I'm here to protect you now. I will get the. Oh, remember when he was like leaving and she was like, you go get those bastards.
Yeah,
You go get him.
it was very hard to understand what was happening at certain points.
Well, my theory with the grid runners. Okay, so there seems to be. Okay, well, actually,
So they're sort of like police.
well, can I just bring up one core problem this movie had? So they obviously a shoestring budget. Obviously,
yeah.
okay. They seem to only have one outfit for guards / cops / security
So you never know who they're
/
fighting.
grid runners.
Yeah,
right.
Plus the tank top thugs.
Yeah, so there's the tank top thugs, and then there's the security / all the other things, which is kind of a problem because when you get to it, like, we didn't even know they were talking to Los Angeles police at one point, right?
Yeah, it'll just skip from one place to another.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying, like, because they're wearing the same uniform as, like, the cops in the other scene, I mean, maybe it was slightly different, but we can't tell because it's shot like shit. So you can't tell, and we're just like, are they the same? And then there's like, oh, he's a cop. And I'm like, what's he? He's just a security guard. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like, and then our main character, they're grid runners. I'm like, what? They look exactly the same.
Yeah, so there's a robbery at some sort of bank, and they're stealing.
No, that wasn't the bank. That was Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was a Las Vegas bank where they
Oh.
were keeping virtual machines,
Yeah.
which is I think the AIs that are the characters in the game. Like they're unique somehow.
Yes.
And that they try and cross over to LA, which I think is what they mean by grid. Like I think the grids are the borders.
Oh, no. I think the grid's in between the Las Vegas and the actual border wall.
Because they say, oh, you're entering the LA grid. So I thought it was more like a region, like they're border cops, sort of.
They say that too, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, they do.
It feels like it should
Doesn't
be
make
a
sense.
dystopian future, sort of like Blade Runner, where people are trying to move from one border to the next. Like people want to move to Las Vegas or LA, but in both the cities, everyone seems really happy.
Yeah, and that's the
So
thing.
I don't get why there are dystopian police.
Because I thought it was going to be about the grid, right? I thought it was about the virtual things that they are so good that people just want to stay in them all the time or
people
something.
Just, it's just something to
It's
do
just-
in Las Vegas.
you just
It's not-
get-
there's no real appeal to it.
Yeah, that wasn't a big thing, and I was like,
Although they were apparently worth millions of dollars.
billions?
Yeah, on the black market.
Which, that's where it was. So what I was thinking was either A, it's an apocalyptic thing, or what I thought it was meant to be was like
Corporate takeover or something.
Los Angeles. Sorry, god damn, I keep mixing
Las
the names up.
Vegas.
Las Vegas, I thought was meant to have like, yeah, it has those AI things that are really precious, and then there's like a distance from Vegas to the wall, and then like,
Yeah.
because that's where the grid runners were doing their jobs, was in this weird gap when there's suddenly a fucking wall.
Yeah.
What's the wall? What's this?
Anyway. Yeah, most of this movie was spent trying to figure out what the different things were because there's no explanation. But so there's an evil corp, Bertag or something, and I think they make
Are they
I
evil?
think they make the virtual thing. Which
Are
is
they
why
even
they're so
evil?
Rich. Well, the main guy is ridiculously villainous, like stupidly so.
Okay. We come across the cliche of like really rich billionaire guy who comes across amazing technology and then
it's just
thinks of like
the stupidest way
the
to use it.
dumbest
possible.
way. What was the other film that this is in? It's another one where it's like, oh yeah, you can like become super smart, and they're like, we'll sell it to the army so that they can make soldiers who aren't afraid. I'm like, why wouldn't you just make yourself a genius?
Is that
That's
Jurassic World? Remember they built
I don't know which
the
one it
killer
is.
Dinosaurs.
No. It
And they
was.
sell them as
It's a movie we've done, and it's just another thing. Like it's come up, and it's sort of similar. In to be fair, to give him a little bit of credit, he doesn't know about Dante at that point being
Yeah.
made that way.
So
Because
what-
like if you found out that you could make a
Super
superhuman
soldiers.
who literally can use magic,
yeah, there's
who's
applications
who's
for that.
upgrading? Who's
So-
upgrading? I am.
the doctor.
You're not upgrading.
I would.
You know
There's a
what I'll
doctor
turn
who-
into?
What?
I'd turn into a dolphin, half man, half dolphin.
Let's go the South Park route.
Let's go South Park route. Like that.
The ultimate human.
Exactly.
So there's a doctor who works for Evil Corp, and he has found a way to take the virtual characters from the games and put them into super android bodies.
He was a very 80s doctor too, wasn't he?
He's literally like he's got the German accent.
Really? I thought he was Asian.
No,
Wasn't he Asian?
no.
I thought he was like cliche, like Asian geneticist geneticist.
No, because
Doctor.
he's like a plasmologist because it's made out of this plasma plastic
Hey,
stuff.
that was hilarious
So
when
the
they
first
came
thing
out,
he
though.
does, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, there's only virtual characters in this world for the sex game and the fighting game. So the
Well-
first one he brings out is the most popular sex character, who I think is some sort of model. I don't know.
We
in
we
real
got to
life.
go back over that too. I think somehow the games also like use the same people. Like okay, there's a fighting
I
game and the
think-
sex game. They use the same people.
What?
Yeah. They use the same characters in both. That's why they're able to fight. And also, when the chick's
No,
going,
I
yes,
think she's able to fight because she's the dominatrix.
No, I'm not totally finished. No, the other chick's able to fight too. And then when they're going through on picking who they want to have sex with, she goes through and it's like all the fighters that she's going through.
I think they only had a few buff-looking guys, and they just reused them throughout the movie.
I just think.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw
I don't
thugs
know.
get repeated.
Oh yeah, no, we have characters repeated a lot.
Yeah. So he creates the girl. Of course, the evil corp guy is like, "This is perfect. We can create one and sell her on the black market to high-level mobsters." And you're just like, you've just created an actual clone of the character. Why not, do something clever with it? Like you could have an army of clones or something.
Well, you can't remember.
Oh yeah, you can only but you could create more than one character.
No,
couldn't you?
yeah, but you can only create one of it.
I
The grid or something only supports one.
but then
of
they
that
make
type.
3 more. Yeah, of
that type.
specific type.
So you just got to make more.
So then in front of the evil guy, he creates the dominatrix from the sex game. And the evil guy is immediately like, "This is perfect. Get my crappy Jeep. We're going to drive through the desert."
It wasn't a Jeep, man. That was more
was
like it looked more like a golf cart or like something that someone would drive around with at school, like
Yeah.
with the service people.
I
You know
didn't get
those
why. For
things.
some reason, he's got to take them to LA for the meeting.
You know what it was like? You remember Austin Powers when he gets
Yeah.
stuck in the hallway?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
one of those
They
things.
all
It's
look
like,
like that.
a service. What is it?
Like
it's not
golf
a
buggy
it's
thing.
not a golf buggy, but I know what it. Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah,
He's in one of those, and it's a pity Austin Powers didn't turn up.
yeah.
That would
So
have been great.
The bad guy and the 2 women leave. They also get, because for some reason, all of the virtual AI people have the capacity to learn. He makes them control collars that will. They go on and on about how the virtual control collars can exude 500 psi of pressure on their neck, killing them instantly. It goes on and on about that. Although I thought it was going to be like a Chekhov gun thing, like that's how he kills the bad guy at the end. But
Yeah,
no,
he does. He kills that
he
guy
kills,
with it.
Yeah, he kills the human with it, but he doesn't kill the android with it.
Can I say it as well? We did miss out on a very important bit.
What?
Well, when he made the clones, okay, he goes, they're just like the computer thing. They're just programmed to like have sex or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, and learn.
Yeah.
What? Why would you do
Okay,
that?
well, no. Here's another. Why would you do that? So the bad guy and
didn't-
the 2
but he
women
doesn't
leave,
even explain,
and
like-
for some reason the doctor is back at
No.
his computer console.
No.
And Dante appears behind him, and it's like, did he just create?
Yes, Dante
Dante?
created himself.
Did Dante create himself?
Dante creates himself somehow. Somehow.
Because we don't see it happen. We just see him appear behind the doctor. And it's like, if the doctor created him, why would you create the bad guy, the ridiculously overpowered bad guy from a video game?
Who's only gonna kill
Yeah.
and learn.
Right?
Hey, also, if you're thinking like, and learn, that's dumb. Guess what? It doesn't even really come into play.
So the doctor locks
That's the insane
out,
bit.
I know. Well,
it's fucking insane, this
no,
thing.
remember? She learns to love.
How? When? She just does.
There's so many questions. The doctor gets killed, but before he does, he locks out the machine. So Dante can't create his evil army. He can't bring them into real life. He has to travel to LA to unlock it. So that's why all the bad guys are going to the same place.
Yeah, so then we have some other side thing where...
They're drinking the good guys are drinking at a bar. They're going on about random shit.
See, this is a problem. Like, we have like stuff to talk about, but it's all things where we don't know why any of this happened.
Yeah.
It's like, so the billionaire, when he's going to sell the people for a few
he
million,
has to smuggle them out.
even though I think he kind of owns Las Vegas almost.
Yeah, later on, the police are just like, "Oh, hi, sir. Yeah, you're allowed to kill anyone you want."
Also, he's trying to get through the gate, with the two people, okay? This is what got me nuts. He was like, yeah, I have to like smuggle them out where like no one will know at nighttime. But I'm like, but they're just two normal looking women.
Yeah.
There's nothing that like
I guess maybe people would recognize them from the sex game because apparently
no
it was
one
very
did.
popular.
No one did though. No one noticed them. And like he literally could have just walked out the front door with them, but instead he had to wait because
Yeah, for some reason the satellites over Las Vegas would be off for a certain
but it doesn't
period.
matter because we don't even know who he's taking them from.
Anyway,
there's not like another group or people watching, and apparently all the cops work for him.
Yeah.
So there's a thing where like the sergeant or the cops work for him as well, and it's just like, then why is he doing anything?
So
It doesn't make sense.
He escapes to LA. Dante follows.
We
and
think LA is going to be a shithole. We're like waiting, by the way, at this point. We're like, oh, well, it makes sense why there's giant walls. LA is like a shithole. Only Las Vegas is really good. And they go outside the wall, and guess
No,
what? Completely
LA is
fine.
It
Apart
looks
from the
like a
thugs.
futuristic city.
The thugs, which are the same
we gotta
thugs.
we gotta say that the reason that Don goes to LA, as the main bad guy is making his escape, Dante follows and is just killing all the cops in his way.
He kills like 30
just
people.
snapping their necks, just walking through this line. Of course, he runs into the guy's partner and kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how Don finds out he finds everything out immediately because the partner was recording a little bit, and a bit of the recording has the laugh line from the game. So Don Wilson hears the laugh line in the recording and immediately goes, "Oh, I know. The creator of the game must be evil and has brought them into real life."
Yeah, what a leap.
Dude, what a leap. He doesn't, it's like, I was like, oh, is he going to like look up the voice actor for the game or something? But no, he goes straight to find me the creator of the game. We've got to hunt them down.
You know what Speed 2?
Yeah.
That had more of, Sherlock-coming to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, when
Speed 2 had at least the golf balls.
he finds the golf balls and he realizes who it is. Yeah, that had more connections.
This leap is massive.
Yeah, but
he
he's
just
right.
instantly knows where to go, why.
Yeah.
And then he just
he knew they were going to LA because the lights were off or something.
and there's like a lot of fights in between.
He's constantly kickboxing
There's
people.
constantly fights.
But it always looks like the same people.
And then they'll get to Las Vegas where there's some people he has to fight.
The bad guy has the most incompetent henchman. So Don gets off the train. He's walking up the stairs. He walks into this crowd of thugs who immediately detain him. And the main henchman, who's this like lawyer-looking dude, goes, "Okay, release him because then we'll fight him one-on-one." It's like, you had him captured.
They had him. And then the cops come over, right? And everyone stops fighting. And then Don runs, right? And then all the thugs get to start running, but the main guy goes, "No, stop."
We'll just send one guy
And then
after
he
him.
goes, You chase him instead. And I'm like, why would you send one guy? So the one guy chases him and gets beaten up. And I'm like, that's the worst setup for like one guy chasing him.
Then
I've
Don
almost ever
hangs
seen.
out with homeless people for a while.
Well, that's where he meets the girl who's actually managed to escape.
So, yeah.
But this is dumb. This is dumb because like we have, you know how it's like they can learn as well. So it's like until this point though, she's just like, because Dante's been contacting her to ask her where she
Because
is.
Dante can talk to the other androids telepathically and order them to do things.
And I think from the way it felt, I'm not saying that this is right, but I thought that it's like her and Dante had a thing.
No.
But then it turned out it wasn't at all.
He did, but I think it was just he wanted to fuck her.
Yeah, but like she was like, "Yes, I'll do what you say, Dante. Let's get out of here." And then
They
absolutely
seem
like,
to know each other even though they're from different games.
but then
I don't
that's
know
what I'm
how it
saying.
works.
They're in the same game, but then for no reason at all, she like just
Well,
leaves.
that isn't till a bit later.
No,
Doesn't
she just
something
leaves
happen?
and ends up at the homeless place.
There are so many jumps in this film.
Oh wait, yeah,
Oh,
sorry, wait. The
something-
dominatrix gets out by using her whip to somehow mechanically move and slap this guy in his dick.
Oh my god, that was
How did I
hilarious.
forget about that? The dick slapping.
So the two women get put into a warehouse where they're guarded by the most lazy, stereotypical guard I've ever
He
seen.
literally, when he walked by and then just sat down and went to sleep, I was like, this is a joke.
Right? It felt, parts of this felt like a joke. She gets the whip because when they come out of the goop, they've got their like paraphernalia with them.
Also,
She
when they
puts it
come
under
out of the
door,
goop,
and it slides like a snake,
yeah.
lifts up and starts smacking him on the balls.
Yeah, that was pretty funny
And-
though.
he could have just walked away, but instead she's like, bring me the keys or I'll keep smacking you. And he's like, oh, okay.
No,
he
you know what?
walks over and hands him the keys.
You know what? You know how Dante has magic? She probably has dominatrix magic.
Do you that would make a lot of
There
sense.
we go,
'Cause
dominatrix
that's
magic.
the only way it would make sense.
So that's where they get her out, and then the other girl just goes, "No, I go away," and she just leaves and goes the other way for no
dominatrix
reason.
is like, oh, come on, we gotta go find Dante, and she's just like, nah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Nothing. She just by pure chance ends up at the same place as the other guy. He frees her.
Well,
That's
he's
all
like,
cool.
oh, it's got a tracking device in it. They'll be on their way to find you. And then they're like, okay, let's go have sex.
Yeah.
So one.
Oh wait, they do
awkward
have sex, don't they?
Yeah, they have like this awkward sex scene. It's like, shouldn't you be going if you know they're tracking you? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't quite know. And
there were a couple points where he tricks them into finding him.
also, if you think that she's gonna be like important or play some pivotal moment, you know, she's like the lover, like
Well, she's
no,
the
and
love
she
interest.
betrays Dante and like helps him to be able to defeat Dante. Not really. She just dies at one point.
So
How does she
after
die
they-
again?
So after they escape, he decides to hunt down Dante. So you've got the two groups of bad guys who are both like randomly doing their own shit.
Also, the bad guy is like the only guy with a gun, and you can just tell he wanted to say like, "What do you mean you like had him and then you just like let him go? Like, why didn't you just like get a gun?
But he
just
calls-
shoot him."
He gets the android chick to telepathically call Dante and trick him into going to Japantown.
Oh wait,
And
yes.
we thought,
Wait.
he's gonna send the other guys to Japantown as well, and they're gonna fight it out, the two evil groups. But instead, he immediately goes to Japantown to be trapped by Dante.
Wait. Japantown
Yeah,
or
Little Tokyo.
Little Tokyo.
Little Tokyo sounds a bit better.
This is the weirdest thing because up till this point in the film too, there had been like two other referent like things like this said where there's something's not right where they say like we are going to Japantown and I'm like, don't they mean Little Tokyo? And then in the very next scene, someone else will say where they are and they'll
Yeah.
go, we're in Little Tokyo, and I was like, what the fuck? What is wrong with this film? Like, do they just maybe they forgot the lines because I swear it happened early in the fucking film and you were like, nah, man, you just like imagining it. That's not right. And then it happened there so clearly where they went, we're going to Japantown. They turn up and they go, it's Little Tokyo. And I'm like, what? Who wrote, like, what's going, are people forgetting the script? Or did they just write it wrong? Like, what's going on?
So of course
It's
they
very
run into
weird.
each other in Little Japan.
Little Japan. It's just Japantown.
And Dante kidnaps the girl because for some reason he now needs her or wants her. And Don the Dragon Wilson kills the dominatrix girl. And when he does, she bursts into flames and like turns into an outline on the floor. Turns out he's got a little computer with this woman who helps him. And she's like, oh, once they get hit by 500 PSI, they immediately like collapse. Their genetic thing collapses and they turn into fire. Which is
Yep.
where I thought the whole. Which is
Sorry,
where
I got nothing.
Which is where I thought the whole neck thing would come in because they keep bringing out these neck things that like, and they keep saying, "Oh, it squeezes to 500 psi, and kills them instantly." It's like, because he fights Dante and Dante immediately wins because he's an android with magic powers, so of course he can't lose. And so I thought he'd be getting the collar on him somehow, switch it on, and kill him. But that never happens.
Yeah, so
But they keep setting it up to happen. It was frustrating.
I fell asleep and I remember waking up and they were in the human boss's place where they put the collar on his head and then his head
You didn't fall asleep for very long.
fell off,
Yeah.
which was really
That's something
disappointing.
we should say. As interesting as this movie sounds, it was quite boring.
Come on, movie.
There's
you
a
could have
lot
done
of
more.
just kickboxing or walking around.
How much were you waiting for a Scanner's head moment? That would have been sick.
The head pop was pretty good.
The head pop was shit. No, the head pop was shit because it was from behind and then he kind of was falling to the ground and as he was falling down, like a ball fell off,
Yeah.
like his shoulders. And then only a little bit of blood splurted from the shoulders. They should have gone way over top. They should have just had like shit tons of blood splurting. It would have been
The
sick.
bad guys are able to kidnap the last remaining android back from Dante. Just because Dante, I think he just walks into a room and starts beating up people, and the bad guys see and like come in and just take her away.
Oh, okay. Is
It
that
was-
what happened? Because I can't remember any of
He
this.
literally just walks into a room with random bad guys, thugs in it, and just starts fighting people. Yeah,
How
that's
did
like
he?
all Dante wants to do.
Okay.
So
Yep.
Don the Dragon Wilson and the android girl end up at the human bad guy's place.
I thought we just killed him.
He does a Russian roulette thing.
Oh yeah.
As they're running out because Dante has turned up, yeah, they get the collar on him and it pops his head off.
Can I
and that
say
was kind
too-
of cool because it's like the head pops off
Yeah,
and
that's
the body
crap.
keeps like wiggling around for a little bit. You wanted a lot more blood.
That's
but I thought it was
crap.
all right.
You know what else was like insane? The way Don was playing that Russian roulette game, because he had this thing set up as a distraction to like blow up and like freak everyone out for him to break free, right? Okay. He played almost a full hand of Russian roulette.
Well, I mean, yeah. So
He
there
got
was
to
one
the-
bullet and he kept
Somehow
clicking it.
Don
Nothing
knew
happened.
which one had the bullet in it. Because if you're playing Russian roulette,
Well,
wouldn't you be
did he
like,
set up
yeah,
the
distraction?
explosions?
Yes.
Was that him?
Yes. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't you just, as soon as the guy says, let's play Russian roulette, wouldn't you be like, beep, beep, now?
Yeah, why?
Not
did
not
he
after,
wait?
not till the very, there's no
Did
reason.
he want to know his
There's no
plan? But he
reason.
knew his plan at that point.
There's no reason to. It was just somehow he knew. I don't think he even knew. I think the movie was just too dumb to realize how dumb that is.
It's like he just read the script off screen. Dante turns up and is like, I think the android lady tells him is like, oh, if he turns the power on, all of his army will come back to life.
Okay.
Which it isn't a big problem. There's like 10 of them, and they're mediocre martial artists.
I don't know.
So it's not a huge world-ending thing. They have a fight.
Yeah.
They kill
It
the
goes for-
they kill the android lady.
They go for a long fight.
The fight goes on for a while.
A
but
long
the weird thing is
fight.
like Dante at this point. Okay, Dante's the coolest character, obviously. He's
How
constantly
long-
going on. No one can defeat Dante.
How long did they fight Dante
He
for?
has actual magic powers. He starts spawning swords in his hands.
Don't they move
He
scenes?
lifts his arm and things burst into flames. He's talking into the guy's head and can see his memory. So Don defeats this by acting like Bruce Lee out of Enter the Dragon.
Really?
And he does the same moves. Yeah. That's the big jump where he lands on the guy's chest.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's how he defeats him because he just bursts into flames. It's like, okay.
That was really...
That was really clever.
Went for a long
That's
time,
why
though.
I thought, because it's like, they keep saying you can't defeat Dante. You can't defeat Dante. So I'm like, he's going to trick him. He's going to do something.
How long did
with
it
those
go
things.
for, though?
The last
God.
fight went for like 10 minutes.
God, I was literally sleeping and I'd wake up and be like, oh, he's still fighting him?
Yeah.
And then he just beats him and I'm like, oh, just shoot him already.
And that's where we get to the next weird bit in the movie. So like,
There was another bit? I thought the movie was over.
The movie, okay, so the Dante and all the androids are dead, all the bad guys are dead. So it ends with Don the Dragon Wilson back in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
going to the virtual world. But instead of the fighting game, now he goes to the sex world and has sex with the robot he liked. Which I think she remembers him because I think there's only one virtual AI. I don't know how it's connected.
Yeah.
Was it that they needed? Okay, here's the thing. There's
You gotta
like,
calm down.
there's like a 5-minute bit where the doctor describes how it works, and you talk to me the whole time.
Yeah,
So I missed it.
Because the movie's shit. We don't need to hear this exposition of the
It's-
actual reason of
yeah.
why stuff happens, even though right now we're complaining about the fact that we don't know why anything's happening.
So I don't know if she remembered him or if it was actually her, but yeah, they're having some sort of romantic thing in cyber sex.
That's
Yeah,
the beautiful
that's the
ending.
movie.
That's a beautiful ending.
It
So
is.
the most interesting thing about this movie was just looking up the history of Don the Jr. to Don
Don
Dragon,
the Dragon
Wilson.
Wilson has been in a ton of kickboxing films.
Everything else was kind of boring.
A lot of the films look like they're like joke films from other TV shows.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're
I
not.
remember watching Community, and they're like they rip on Kick Puncher, the movie, and one of his things is like, oh
yeah, it's
Future Kick, and it looks exactly like
because he does like 5 of the
Fox. I think
kickboxers,
it's gotta
doesn't
be-
he?
Yeah,
He does
he's got 8 movies called like Blood Punch.
Blood Punch, yeah,
something?
which is
Yeah.
probably what they're referencing. Probably is because it's
No, he's got one called Future Kick,
oh well, there
and
you go.
it has like a cyborg Future Kicker.
There you go, and he made 60 films. He was credited. That's insane.
Why he's in 60 films?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
like the action star guy, I just never knew about
Don
him.
the Dragon.
You know why? 'Cause
Wilson.
it's kind of that awkward level where it's like it's not so bad that it's like hilarious,
And it's not his fault. Like, he seems to be able to act well enough.
and the fighting's competent enough.
He can obviously fight.
Yeah, but that's why I think the thing is that all these kind of made money as like action films, but like that's the problem. They never like.
I feel like
I don't know. Maybe that would be more extreme, because I haven't seen any of the other films. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like,
I
this
think
is a film that's not like so bad. It's good. I mean, it's just a little boring because they do a lot of fights, which are kind of boring. But the fights aren't bad themselves, so it's not like, oh yeah. If you want to watch a really good like fighting kung fu martial arts movie, you watch
It's
like
not this.
Drunken Master, or you watch
Yeah.
like Enter the Dragon, or the Bronx one, or a whole heap of other like cool action martial arts films. But no one's ever mentioned like this guy to me. But maybe maybe we weren't in the right like groups, countries to like
when
really
you look him up, it
experience
turns up with like other like D-level martial, like Cynthia Rothrock. is
Yeah,
another
yeah,
one.
I know her though.
It's like I think they turn up in each other's movies occasionally.
Yeah, she turns up. I know her a bit, but
Yeah,
I've
I've
just
never heard of this guy
never
before.
heard of him before, which probably just shows more of our own ignorance than anything, to be fair.
But I feel like the movie's biggest problem is that it tries to bite off more than it can chew. Having the whole weird sci-fi dystopian thing and never explaining how anything works or what the words mean just means that the movie's confusing.
It was just
It-
because the whole way
yeah.
through we're like, who are the grid runners?
It
What
tries
is
to be
going on?
Too complicated.
But it's because it's based off a book and they didn't get any of the story in.
If it was just
They didn't
here's
get
a
any of like the
future
setup.
cop,
Yeah.
And a company has accidentally created an android that's gone rogue and he's got to hunt it down, and it's from his favorite video game.
Probably Space
That
Cop.
would have been fine. But they've got to add in all this weird telepathy and magic, and
It's
grids.
Space Cop.
I've never seen that.
Me either. I'm just referencing Red Letter Media for no reason because it has the
Okay.
word cop in it, even though this doesn't
But it
have
doesn't
future
have the
cops.
word cop in it.
Yeah, I just realized it was called Virtual Combat.
Anyway,
or Grid Runner.
that's the movie. Would you recommend it? You fell asleep during it, so I'm guessing you wouldn't recommend this.
Nah, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought it's interesting. It is an hour and a half, so it's not that
This
long.
is what I mean though. It's not even like that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's low budget.
The lighting
It's-
is bad. The
it's-
lighting is actively terrible.
Yeah, and that's a choice too, by the way.
Yeah,
Because they have
it's
other
like-
scenes that are better.
There's no
lit,
reason
like,
you had to
lit
have
better.
a strobe light going off in my face while there's a fight going off in the background.
Yeah, or a completely red scene where we couldn't see anything. To be fair, we were watching this on YouTube.
Did you understand what the... Oh, yeah, this is available on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can
Did
watch
you
the whole thing on
understand
YouTube.
what the police captain was saying half the time?
No,
He was very hard to
He
understand.
was
for some
really
reason.
hard to
I think
understand.
He was mumbling.
he was.
Hmm.
Just like the ending of this podcast right now.
Mumble.
Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend the movie. Would you
No.
recommend it? I wouldn't really
No.
recommend it either. I'll do it.
No?
Yeah, it wasn't a film that was so bad it's good. It wasn't a film that was good.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, did you recommend it? I kind of forgot. Yeah.
Give it
Well-
a look, maybe. I don't know.
That's it. Thanks for watching our podcast about Don the Junior Wrestler Dragon.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
Don the
How
Dragon.
come you have so much trouble
Don the
with this?
Dragon Wilson. Thanks for listening to that episode. Don't forget to rate the podcast, follow us on our other social media, and pass on the podcast to other bad movie fanatics.